Hey C500 fans, some of you still reach out to me to see if I have the fan units for sale, and I don't. I haven't had that camera for a while, so I'm not able to build those, custom make those to the body. But what I'm going to show you is quickly how to put together the harness system I used without the bracket and how to attach that to the camera. This tutorial today is more kind of from the heart. I had a C500 and I created a C500 external fan to quiet the internal fans in the C500, which if you've ever owned one, it's like a vortex. And the ramping up and down of it during 4K and 2K 12-bit mode are unacceptable for recording a long interview. You can use it on a commercial and have the shorter takes, but in the end, it just doesn't make sense for interviews that are going to extend beyond, 14 minutes. And even that's pushing it, because that would be your first record before things start getting hot. So I made a fan system. I sold it to several people, many people, gosh. And it worked incredibly well. And I no longer have a camera, so I can't actually make that product for people. So at the end of the day, though, I have another little solution. Is you can order these little fans. I'll put them in the link. They are 12-volt fans. And you can order a 6 AA holder with a 9-volt connection point. Some of those on eBay are going to run, $5, and some of them might actually come with the connection itself. When I was making them, I used a harder plastic connection point, because I just figured it would last longer taking it on, and I had a couple of these batteries. But honestly, when I was powering here with both of these, this would last me about 6 hours before it would diminish to a point where the camera's internal fan indicator would turn yellow, which is the mode rate before it's going to turn red and actually activate those noisy fans. I also put a toggle switch because then you can conserve that battery. I used the rechargeable Parastone. I bought them at B&H. I didn't see them last time I had gone there, but they've been great. I'm just going to show you how to wire this and just use some tubes to connect those and hold those fast, and just how I went about just connecting these. The first time I did the process, I just put these on the camera by themselves with some tape. So let's just kind of run through how to do that. And when you get these, the connection points aren't probably going to be any good for you. So you would cut off the connectors. And then you can kind of peel the wire. Okay. And then you can strip those so that you have access to the metal. Okay. I pre-did the others so we don't have to wait for me to do those. Okay. And I like to be able to turn it on and off. It's not something you have to have. You can just plug in and out. But that is going to put more wear and tear. And actually, right there, look, I have the old plastic ones versus the more flexible ones. And in fact, I'm just going to put that aside. And we'll just go with the good one. You know, this is just for being able to interchange the battery and put on. You can also use a 9-volt. The 9-volt may last an hour and 40 to 2 hours. That doesn't mean, when I say last, it might actually turn the fans much longer than that. But the trouble is the fans, the voltage starts dropping a little bit and they're not spinning as fast. And what you're going to have is, because of that, it's not going to cool the internal system enough, and eventually that's going to slow down to the point where the internal fans could trigger. So we basically have to run both fans together. And I have some tubes here that we can kind of melt together. When you're running these into the camera, you're going to want to blow air in, and blowing air in is coming this way. So you're going to put this on the bottom like that, and then you're going to pull air out on the top. So you're pushing air into the bottom, which is the right way to do it because heat rises, making it easier to pull it out through the top, if that makes sense. Okay? So what we'll do here is we'll start to connect these. The first thing we can do is we can take the blacks and twist those together. And what I'm going to do is cut one of these tubes right in half. I'm going to push this down here for now. Okay. I'm going to do the red ones. Once we get that done, we're going to take the toggle on-off switch and we're going to connect. I'm using the off side. I don't think that's a big issue, which way you choose to do that. Just twist that well, and then I kind of just fold these things over, slide the shrink tube somewhere down to the middle. I'm going to do that with the red ones. Okay. And then what I can do is I could just use a little heat, a solder iron, and just push it in, bring it in close. And the heat from that should just start melting, shrinking. Okay. You bring it in close and try not to. You can touch it a little bit, but it can't be long. And what I would also say is you don't want to touch the wires with it. Just the shrink tube. Okay. Now what I need to do is basically do the same thing over here. Cut one of these in half, these shrink tubes, and put one down the black, one down on the red side. Okay. A twist. Then do the same thing on this side. And then we should be able to fold these down, slide those in a bit. Do the same thing. And I'm going to come back and go ahead and shrink these up. So you're looking at maybe, you know, if you have some of these tools, if you have this tool, so you're looking at the fans at maybe $12 each. That's 24, and then maybe that brings you up to 30. and the toggle 35, and then the little tidbits. It should definitely be under, if you have the tools to do this, $50, $60. And I think that's a reasonable price to pay. You could tape this too. You could just use electrical tape, but this will help with the pulling, and taking off. It'll just be sturdier. It's up to you. Electrical tape would work just fine. I'm just showing you a little extra step. That's going to give you a little more security here. All right. I am going to call that a done deal. I'm going to unplug this heat. Okay, so basically we're going to end up with something like this. We can connect the connection point, the 9-volt connection point, and now we get to, here we go. Can you see it? Boom. There it goes. There is a noise. I'm not going to say it's 100% quiet, but it is not a problem when recording. It's constant. It's not going to ramp up and down. It's not going to become a problem, but you can try, and you can try other fans to do this, but you do need to stop that ramping and that internal noise. And no client ever complained with this amount of noise during the shoot. And no sound person for that matter, which is really important. What you would do from here is you would take just 3M tape and you would cut small strips like this. This is 3M mounting. This is standard, and this is gray, but they have one that's called Extreme. It really doesn't feel any different to me. And maybe you could try the Extreme. It's black in color, and you could try that Extreme mounting tape. Also, I've been told that you can use snot tape, which is the tape that credit cards come on, the one that peels away from the paper and the credit card, and you just kind of roll your finger down it until it comes off. So you could use that kind of tape. You could try that out. I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and show you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some of these strips. I'm going to cut a block. I'm going to peel that back. And what you would do is put this around the pre-existing internal vents for the fans. But you want to make sure that none of this comes in contact with the blades or anything like that. And this is how, when I first started testing the viability of using this fans, and before I made the bracket, this is what I did, because it always makes sense to test things first before you try it to engineer, just to know that, yeah, this is a solution. Honestly, too, I wanted to test first because I had just bought the camera from B&H and I was thinking about sending it back. That's how bad it was. All right, so I'm going to cut 1, 2, here. So I have 3, 4. So I have 4 of these. I want to make sure, I'm just going to show you here how sticky it is. This is not the right camera. This is not a camera that has this issue. Okay. But I do want to give you an idea how strong this can be. And you'll have a way to go and immediately, once you get this, stop. Okay. I'll bring that a little higher just because I don't really have enough room. Blowing in is much easier because the fan just doesn't come out that far. So I'm going to put something here. here, out here. Does not want to leave my fingers. I use my nail when I have that problem. Okay, so this would be around your vent on the C500, and then you just put it down and you just push it in. Okay, man, that is on there tight, and I'm gonna show you how tight it is. Okay, so I'm just lifting this in the air. You see that? Yeah, I think if you need to double layer the tape, you can do that just to raise it a little away from the camera, because I know on the C500 there's kind of a rise to that. That you're gonna have to figure out on your own. So I think what you can really see is that's a solid way to get that on your camera. Now do it at your own risk. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help give you a solution that's pretty cheap and can get your C500 quieting down. Boy, that is tough, okay? When you want to take it off, I wouldn't leave it on for extended periods of time, but you can just roll it like that, and boom. Okay guys, so I've shown you how to make the C500 fan system. It's important that you stay 9 volts, because if you go ahead and if you buy one with 8 batteries, it's going to be 12 volts. 12 volts is going to spin those fans faster, is going to make more noise, going to be too noisy. On a final note, I recently spoke to a guy named Alex who actually made a C500 fan unit that's kind of similar to what I was making when I was doing that. And I'm going to leave his information in the description, and you can reach out to him and see if that makes sense for you and your budget. But if not, I think this is a reasonably priced, solid solution that you might want to try out. That's it. So please subscribe. And if you like what I'm doing, please ring that bell and stay tuned and add your voice as we move forward. Thank you, guys.